Hello world, welcome to Edupedia World. In this video, we will study about some of the internet protocols where a protocol is a set of rules governing the format of data from one computer to another on the internet. So the first and foremost is a file transfer protocol, simply stands for FTP. It is a standard network protocol used to transfer computer files from one host to another host over the internet. It is the most basic way of sending and receiving files over the internet, as it divides the files into several segments and assigns a reference number to each one. These segments are then transmitted in a sequence which the receiving computer reassembles as an exact copy of the original. It also performs automatic error detection and correction in file transfers. There are hundreds of thousands of file transfer protocol files over the internet that can be freely downloaded. This protocol is built on the client-server architecture and uses separate control and data connections between the client and the server. That is, it relies on two communication channels between client and server, where a command channel for controlling the conversation and a data channel is for transmitting file content. Clients initiate conversations with servers by requesting to download a file, and using file transfer protocol, a client can upload, download, delete, rename, move and copy files on a server. This protocol is most commonly used to download a file from a server using the internet or to upload a file to a server. It works the same way as Hypertext transfer protocol for transferring web pages from a server to a user's browser. Now comes email. It stands for electronic mail, and it is defined as the transmission of messages over communication networks where the messages may contain text, files, images or other attachments sent through a network to a specified individual or group of individuals. The first email was sent by Ray Tomlinson in 1971, and now by 1996 more electronic mails are being sent than the postal mail. So the components most email systems include a text editor for composing messages, but many allow you to edit your messages using any editor you want. Mostly systems will also provide basic formatting including bold, italics, font, color and emoticons. You can use the program to send the message to a recipient by specifying the recipient's address, or you can also send the same message to several users at once, which simply is called broadcasting, where the sent messages are stored in electronic mailboxes until the recipient fetches them. After reading your mail, you can store it in a text file, forward it to other users, or can delete it as well. All online services and internet service providers offer email. Examples include Gmail, Yahoo Mail, which are free and have a free account option as well. They also support gateways so that you can exchange mail with users of other systems as well. Usually, it takes only a few seconds or minutes for mail to arrive at its destination. So, It is an effective way of communication. The first portion of all email addresses, that is the part which you can see before the @ symbol. So now we can have a look at email address breakdown. Let's have a look at this email ID, simply an xyz@gmail.com. In this address, the first portion of all the email addresses, that is the part before the @ symbol, contains the name of the user, group or department of a company. As in the above example, XYZ is the name of the user. Next comes the @ sign, which is used as a divider in the email address. It is required for all email addresses since the first message was sent. Finally, .com is the domain name to which the user belongs, where .com stands for commercial site, .mils is for the military, .gov is for the government, .net is for the network, etc. Where some recently added top level domains are .tv, .biz, .info, etc., etc. Now there are some rules also that an email address must follow to be valid. That is, it must have a username followed by @ sign, which is followed by the domain name. The username cannot be longer than 64 characters and the domain name cannot be longer than 254 characters. There should be only one @ sign. Some email providers do not allow special characters. The email address cannot begin or end with a .sign. So these are the validity rules for creating an email ID. So now, as you can see from this figure as well, it is a picture of a simplest email server. So this is how in the message body you write your message. In the subject will be written, and in this to field the address will be written or the email ID will be written to which you want to send this particular email. And then comes the option CC or carbon copy, is you can send or write multiple addresses there to broadcast this message or email. So now comes World Wide Web. World Wide Web or W3. Simply it is the web consists of all the public websites connected to the internet worldwide, or it is a system of internet servers that support specifically formatted documents as well as graphics, audio and video files, or simply it is the form of recent and latest internet that is not simply a way to send files from one place to another, but is itself a web of information that anyone on the internet could retrieve. This innovation or entirely new form of internet has been introduced by a computer programmer in Switzerland named Tim Berners-Lee in 1991. And now this is the time to rectify the misconception that internet and World Wide Web are not synonyms. That is, they are not the name of a same thing, where the internet is linking your computer to other computers around the world. It is a way of transporting content, whereas the web is a software that lets you use that content or contribute your own. The internet itself is a global interconnected network of computing devices, whereas the World Wide Web is one set of software services running on the internet. So you can say that World Wide Web is a subset of internet. Now, as you can see, it is clarified from this diagram as well that the internet is connecting the computers, whereas the web is to connecting the people. So they are not synonyms. So now let's have a look at two main components of World Wide Web. The first one is website. It is a related collection of World Wide Web files that includes a beginning file called a home page. A company or an individual tells you how to get to their website by giving you the address of their home page. From the home page, you can get to all the other pages on their site. Web pages are the building blocks of websites, which are documents typically written in plain text, may include images, videos as well. A website is hosted on at least one web server, accessible via a network such as the internet or a private local area network through an internet address known as a uniform resource locator. All publicly accessible websites collectively constitute the World Wide Web. The pages of a website can usually be accessed from a simple uniform resource locator called the web address. The uniform resource locators of the pages organize them into a hierarchy, although hyperlinking between them conveys the reader's perceived site structure and guides the reader's navigation of the site, which generally includes a home page or the first page of the website, with most of the links to the site's web content and a supplementary about contact and link pages as well. So now comes the other major component of World Wide Web, which is named as web browser. Web browser, commonly referred to as a browser, is a software application for retrieving, presenting and traversing information resources on the World Wide Web. An information resource is identified by a uniform resource locator or a web page, image, video or other pieces of content. Although browsers are primarily intended to use the World Wide Web, they can also be used to access information provided by web servers in private networks or files in the file systems. Major web browsers are Firefox, Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Opera and Safari. A browser is a software that is used to access the internet. It lets you visit the websites and do activities within them like login, view multimedia link from one site to another, visit one page from another, print, send and receive email, among many other activities. When you type a web page address such as worldwideweb.edupediaworld.com into your browser, that web page in its entirety is not actually stored on a server ready and waiting to be delivered. In fact, each web page that you request is individually created in response to your request, and this is actually the work which is done by the browser, that is, make a web page available as soon as it is requested. So now comes Hypertext Transfer Protocol, simply stands for HTTP. It is the set of rules for transferring files, either text, graphic, images, sound, video and other multimedia files on the World Wide Web. As soon as a web user opens their web browser, the user is indirectly making use of this protocol. It is an application protocol that runs on top of the suite of all the protocols, that is the foundation protocol for the internet. It is the underlying protocol used by the World Wide Web. It defines how messages are formatted and transmitted and what actions web servers and browsers should take in response to various commands. For example, when you enter a uniform resource locator in your browser, this actually sends an hypertext transfer protocol command to the web server, directing it to fetch and transmit the requested web page. Hypertext transfer protocol is called a stateless protocol because each command is executed independently without any knowledge or know-how of the commands that came before it. When accessing any web page, entering http:// in front of the address tells the browser to communicate over Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Although today's browsers no longer require HTTP to be written in front of the Uniform Resource Locator or web address, since it is the default setting or method of communication. Thank you for watching a video on Edupedia World.